Hi everyone! So today's video is going to be a little bit different. I never did any challenges yet, but today I was on YouTube and I saw NikkieTutorial using all her palettes. And I think it was around 171 palettes, which is crazy. But I really wanted to try it out because her look turned out to be amazing. It was really unplanned and I really love how it came out. So I really wanted to try it for myself. So today I am going to do a look using all the palettes that I own. So if you want to see how this look turns out, you can just keep on watching. Alright, so we are going to be starting. It's really weird because usually whenever I film, I always have a face chart or I always have like guidelines just because I want my tutorials and my videos to be well organized for you guys. But today I'm feeling kind of out of my comfort zone because I really have no clue what I'm going to be doing. But I'm just going to do one step at a time. So I'm going to start by priming my eyes. Today I'm going to be using the Urban Decay Primer Potion just because I'm not really sure what kind of look I'm going to do, and this is a pretty like foolproof base, and I just applied way too much. Holy shit, that's great. So I'm just going to blend this in using my fingers, and also just because I don't have as much palette as Nikki does, I'm actually going to be using 2 shades in each of my palettes. I own around 15 palettes, so it's going to be 30 eyeshadow that I'll have to put on my face. So that's how I wanted to do it, so that it's a little bit more challenging. All right, so my eyes are primed. Maybe I should do foundation. No, I think I'm going to do foundation last just because I don't really want any fallout on my face. Okay, so I'm going to be starting. I really don't know where to start. I guess this is going to be a colorful look. I think I'm just going to be starting with a transition shade. I think I'm going to be starting with the Fire palette from Essence. I'm thinking of just playing it safe right now. So I'm going to be grabbing the brown shade from the Fire palette, and I'm just going to start and blend this in my crease. And I know on her tutorial she did different looks on both eyes, but I want to do the same look. So I'm actually going to take the exact same shade from the Fire palette and I'm going to run it in my other eye, in the crease of my other eye, just because again I don't have as much eyeshadow palette as her, so I don't really want to put all the chances on my side. I really want to challenge myself, so I'm going to do the exact same look on both eyes. Maybe this is going to turn very awful, I don't know. Hers turned out to be so amazing. It was so pretty, super colorful and blown out, and she also added like rhinestones, so it looked amazing. Next, I'm just going to take this yellowish shade from the Fire palette. So we have both shades with this palette, and I'm just going to put this in under my brow bone just so that we have a transition shade. All right, so Fire palette done. Next, I'm thinking, oh my god, this is so hard. I'm going to jump into my ColourPop custom palette. So I'm going to be taking this shade right here. I think it's called Poodle. So this is a Poodle shade. I'm going to take that on a smaller blending brush, and I'm going to put this underneath the brown shade we have on, just to warm up the eyeshadow and make it a little bit more pink. And also I'll be using not only my eyeshadow palette, but also my face palettes. So just to warn you, just because I have no clue where this look is going to go, I might just save this palette to do like a good highlight moment. So I'm going to put this on the like to try later pile. I think I'm going to go into my Norvina collection palette. This is the Pro Pigment Palette, and I've been loving it so far. I love this blue shade, and the pink shade too is really pretty. So I'm going to be taking this very bright red shade in the palette, and I'm going to be packing this in my inner corners. So I'm just putting this in my inner corners right here. Oh, I'm probably going to do, yeah, I'm totally going to do a cut crease just so that I have more space to work with. These shades are really blending nicely. I've been really enjoying this palette. Again, I think I'm going to put this one aside just so that I have a better idea of what the look is going to go for. So I'm going to be going maybe in my 24A Artist Pass palette. Maybe I'm going to go into the bright pink. That could be cute. Yeah, I think I'm going to dip into that very bright pink shade, and I'm going to start and pack this on my outer corners. You have to be extremely careful with this palette because the matte shadows are a little bit patchy, so I'm kind of scared to layer this shade on, but I have no other choice. I'm really going to blow this out. This shade, God, I really chose well to not start with my foundation because it always happens to me. I always just put a bunch of eyeshadow on my face. And by the way, you should definitely subscribe to my channel. I put up new videos 3 times a week about makeup. So if you like makeup, I don't know what you're waiting for. You can subscribe to my channel. Alright, so I'm really loving this so far. I think I'm going to save this palette too because I'm really interested in using the Private Oasis shade because this is a beautiful duochrome blue shade. So yeah, I'm going to put this aside for the moment. So I already have all of these palettes aside. I know I need to use them once more. But next, I think I'm going to dip into my Jaclyn and Anastasia palette. As you can see, this palette is super well loved. I just love it. It's like my favorite everyday palette. I think I'm going to use the shade Big Wig. I'm going to pack this under the pink shade we have right now, just so that we have a little bit more dimension going on our outer V's. And remember, I am going to cut the crease after. And this look is probably going to look like crap until the very end, so bear with me. I'm going to grab the shade called Supreme with the same brush, and I'm going to be putting this in my inner corners just to have a little bit more pink there. Alright, so I'm done with this palette. I'm going to put it aside. So next, I'm going to go back into my ColourPop shadows, and I'm going to be using the shade called Going Steady, which is a very deep burgundy shade. And I'm going to be putting this in my inner corners a little bit more closely to my lash line, just to have a little bit more definition there. I'm realizing how many like pink shadows I have in my collection. I don't know if you noticed, but it's pretty much my favorite color ever to put on the eyes. So next, I'm thinking of cutting the crease, just so that I can see what I have to work with. So to cut the crease, I'm going to be using my MAC Pro Longwear Concealer. I really like to use this product to cut the crease because this concealer has a very lightweight texture, but it has a lot of coverage at the same time. So it's really nice just to cut the crease so that there's not too much like cakiness going on the eyes. I'm going to cut all the way through so we have enough space to put all these other shadows. So I'm just going to start in the center. Alright, so I'm back. I made sure that we could see all of the colors, so I added a little bit more purple and I made everything stand out a little bit more so that I'm not really cheating. But we are done with all of these palettes right here. I still have one shade that I need to use in the Norvina palette, but next I'm going to go into this palette right here. Now this is a palette from the brand called Rituals, and this is a pretty much like neutral palette. So I think I'm going to be using one of these like lighter shades, maybe this one right here. And I'm going to use this just to set the concealer in place. So next, I'm just going to go into this shade, which is a very cool tone, like purple brown shade. And I'm just going to blend this on my outer corners just to give a little bit more shape. And I'm really not going to worry about my under eye area right now because I'm probably going to clean all of that up. Alright, so this is it for the Ritual palettes. So we are already done with 5 of the palettes. Next, I'm thinking of doing something a little bit more fun and colorful. So I think I'm going to go back into the Morphe 24A palette. And I'm going to be using the Private Oasis shade. I'm going to take that with a flat brush. And I'm going to start and pack this in my inner corners. And I'm just going to take my finger and tap it on just so that I have a little bit more pigment. Alright, so we are officially done with the 24A palette. I'm going to start by going into the NYX Ultimate Bright palette, and I'm going to be taking the turquoise bluish shade, and I'm just going to put this in the center of my eye, just next to the shimmer we have in the inner corner. I'm kind of scared with this palette right now because I know the blues are a little bit patchy. This is not looking good. Oh, god damn it. I do not really like this palette. The shades are so patchy. I would say if you're looking for a good rainbow palette, do not pick this one up because the shadows are just so freaking patchy. So I'm going to be using the Jaclyn Hill palette, and I'm going to be taking this satin turquoise shade. I'm going to take it with my finger to start, and I'm going to put it on top of that NYX shade we just applied, just so that it has a little bit more pigment. Alright, I think we have something going on. Just going to try and blend these two shades together. this is kind of cute, isn't it? I'm really doubting myself right now. Next, I'm going to go into the Jaclyn Hill palette 2, and I'm going to be using the purple shade, and I'm going to put this on my outer corner on the blank spot we have right now. Yeah, this might be a really bad decision. It's too late to go back now. This is not looking good. Let me see. Nikkie's look was way better. Oh my god, what have I done? I'm going to try and save it with some lashes and like good eyeliner. So I'm just going to take a little bit of makeup remover, and I'm just going to start to clean my under eye area because I'm kind of looking very crazy right now. Next, I'm just going to do my complexion and my brows off camera, and I'll be right back. Alright, so we are back. I'm kind of on the fence with this look right now because with the complexion and my brows, it's looking a little bit more like normal, or it looks a little bit better, but I still don't really like it that much. I'm going to try and save it, and with this challenge, I did want to use all of my face palettes as well. So I'm going to be using for my bronzer, the Hourglass Ghost Edit palette, and I'm going to be using the bronzer in this palette, of course. And I'm just going to bronze up my skin, and I'm really going to be generous with the bronzer because we got a lot going on our eyes. And I'm also going to put some on my nose, and because we are using 2 shades in each palette, I'm just going to go all over this upper row, and I'm just going to put it under my eye just to add a little bit more definition to my skin and make everything look a little bit more glowy and healthy looking. Next, I'm going to go into my Violet Voss Essential palette, and I'm going to start by using the shade called Dusty Rose, and I'm going to be using this on my lower lash line, so I'm really going to smoke that shade out. And I think I'm going to blend this into the outer corners here, going in the same kind of direction. In the same palette, I'm going to be using the shade called Cream, and I'm going to be putting this in my inner corners for a inner corner highlight moment. Alright, so one palette down. Next, I'm going to go into my Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. I'm going to take this very cool tone brown shade, and I'm going to smoke it on my lower lashes. Next, I'm going to be using the black shade from the palette. I think I'm going to do a smoky liner with this, so I'm just going to put this closely to my lash line, just to add a little bit more definition on that outer corner and make that purple look a little bit more smoky and patchy, because right now it's not really looking good. Alright, so Kat Von D palette out. Next, I'm going to use my second shade in the NYX palette. I'm going to use that very bright pink, and I'm just going to blend this on my lower lashes. This is going to make the look so much worse. Okay, so I'm going to go into my Pixi by Petra palette. This is the Gold Lava Glittery Eye Quad. So I'm going to be taking this shade with my finger and cover up a little bit of this blue shade. Is this better? I think it's a little bit better, isn't it? Glitters are the solution for everything. Oh, I'm getting a bunch of fallout. This is great. And I'm just going to take that lighter shade, and I'm going to put it in my inner corners just so that we have 2 of these shades from the same palette. So next we have the Alchemist highlight palette from Kat Von D. I'm going to use the pink opal shade, and I'm just going to add a little bit of this in my inner corners. I'm going to put just a little bit on my brow bone as well, and I could also highlight with this, why not? I'm just going to take a bunch of that and put it on the highest points of my cheeks and my temples. This is not really an intense highlight. It is really pretty, but it doesn't have as much like highlighty qualities to it. I'm going to add a little bit of blush, and I'm going to go into my Fairy Blush palette. This is one of my favorite palettes ever. This palette is really nice for the eyes and the cheeks, so it's really practical. But I'm going to be using the coral shade, and I'm going to put this all over my cheeks and my temples. I also kind of want to try something out. So I'm going to take a blending brush, and I'm just going to try and blend that outer corner out, just because I feel like it's really, really patchy because of that purple shade. And I am just making it worse. Woohoo, great. I'll need to do the same mistake on this eye. And I'm just going to go back into the little Norvina palette, and I'm going to be using the pink shade. And I'm just going to try and make this outer corner a little bit more blended. And I'm also going to use that purple shade from the palette, and I'm just going to try to blend that outer corner, the purple shade we have on our outer corner, just because it's looking so patchy right now. Ooh, yeah, I think this is going to save it. Okay, I'm not too mad at that. You know what I want to do? I kind of want to take this look to a whole other level. I'm going to take the purple shade and I'm going to use that as a blush. I don't know if it's going to make my whole look worse or better, but we'll have to try. I'm going to go back and forth with the coral shade, and I'm just going to pack a little bit more of the coral shade on my cheeks, just so that we have kind of a blend from coral to purple. I kind of like this. Okay, I need to stop. I'm going to put this palette aside now. I'm going to use the ultraviolet shade, and because we have some like purple shades right here, I'm going to put it right on the very high points of my cheeks. Oh yeah, this is pretty. And I'm just going to add a little bit more of that pink in front of my cheeks. So with the highlight, we also have like a gradient from pink to purple. And next, our very last palette will be our Natasha the Nonna Diamond and Blush palette. This is one of my favorite face palette because the highlights in there are just gorgeous, super beautiful. I'm going to take a little bit of this powdered blush, and I'm just going to dab just a little bit on the very center of my cheeks. And I'm going to take the powder highlight, and I'm just going to add a little bit on the very high points of my cheeks, just to add just a little bit more, because I feel like that Alchemist highlight was not bright enough. So I'm just going to do mascara, false lashes, and I'll be right back. Alright everyone, so here we have it. I am kind of loving this look. I was hating it in the middle of doing it because like the blue that I applied in the center was not working out. But I really love this look because it really took me out of my comfort zone. It really made me work with colors and textures that I don't really used to work with. But I really like that I started this look not knowing how it would turn out, and I really like the finished look, especially the purple blush that we have on our cheeks. I never used it as a blush before, so I'm really excited. And also I don't really own as many palettes as Nikki, so I really don't know how she does it. She has magic powers or something. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today's video. I really hope you liked it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I put up new videos 3 times a week, so subscribe so that you don't miss any of my content. And that's it, so thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.